Welcome to Keep Painting Those Miniatures. Today I'm assembling the War Machine Signar Battle Group, the one from 2016. To start off, let's get something out of the way. There's a certain roughness to the Restic. I felt compared to other ranges it was not the best, and it won't stop me buying other stuff, but yeah, they certainly feel the lower quality. As is my custom, I've made up some bases for the models. This time I wanted to try the cobblestones again. I think they were my go-to design for base creation at the moment. They don't turn out overly complex, but they do make a nice base, and yeah, that's really important. To make the bases, I use basically a wall filler, poly filler, and I, create a layer of it on the base, and then carve in, sort of a rough sort of shape. Even if it's messy, it's not a problem, because essentially once you sand it back, it looks like worn cobblestone, so go me. So I won't repeat myself about 4 times in this video. After I'd cleaned off the flash and the gates, I gave the models a bath. I don't usually do this too often unless they feel really greasy, but in this case the feeling was pretty horrible, so I decided to give them a bath. It helped. I don't know why, but it did. So maybe try for yourself. Also, just sort of a heads up, I kept parts of the model off to make painting easier. In pretty much all the models it was the arms, and for the Lancer I left the shield off also. It's pretty much just to make painting easier. It's not really any other reason. Some people say it's a bad idea, because the glue doesn't hold to the paint and blah blah blah, but I just scratched the paint off with a hobby knife and yeah, make a fairly good bond that way. The first model I took on was Major Beth Maddox. She was a simple model and I felt I could learn how to work with it, easier by breaking my Warcaster first, always break the one you can only get one of. Overall, she was fairly easy to fit together. Her leg was a nice fit, while her neck was sort of really weird. It's like a stalk. Anyway. On the other hand, the hardest part was working out the backpack. I hate to tell you, but there's very few pictures showing her backpack. For some reason, I don't know whether they go up or down. You're probably calling me a numpty right now, but none of the images on the net have her with the backpack showing, so, who knows. The Restic itself can be, manipulated with a quick dip in hot water like other Restics. The flash is reasonably low, but the gates where they joined onto the models, at least in these cases, were surprisingly poorly placed, even to the extent of destroying detail. Again, it won't stop me from buying further models, it just makes me a little bit more cautious. The Firefly was next, and the gates were horrible on this model. I have no idea why they keep putting them on the top of the thigh, but that's the same spot the rivets are, and the rivets just get mangled in it. This is my first War Machine in quite a long time, and it was quite a bit of a learning experience for me. I did Dead Zone Restic before, but this is sort of different again, and I did a lot of dry fitting. Dry fit the legs, dry fit the sort of arms, dry fit everything in, get a good idea of where it goes. And, apart from the sort of gates, I didn't feel it was too bad, but, it's alright. I will point out that when the legs, if you don't sort of reposition them once they're in, it makes it very difficult to get him to sit flat-footed. So, I don't mean perfectly flat-footed, but I mean like both flats of his feet, the correct flats of his feet, sort of standing on the surface correctly. It's, I'd watch that when you're putting them together. The Lancer's torso is essentially the same as the Firefly's, and I had the same sort of issues, and I was looking out for them, so it went a lot quicker. The only thing that had me sort of reasonably confused is the back of the Lancer's shield has a little clip that, obviously attaches to his arm. Now, I didn't work that out. Some of the models I had from Menoth from years ago, they didn't have a clip. They just sort of, glued it on. Now that's fine. It just was news to me, so hopefully it won't be news to you. Finally, the Ironclad. The only thing I really found complicated with this guy was the wrist placement. Because I was leaving the arms off, I had to keep on sort of going backwards and forwards, trying to, get the wrist relative to the body correct. Especially with such a large hammer, he's holding it quite low, so it looks very unwieldy if he's sort of holding it at an odd angle. Now, that's, may not be an issue for people who, glue it on assemble, but it was an issue for me. Now, if you have the same problem, I basically just went back and forwards, sort of putting it on, adjusting the position until I was happy with it, and then sort of did it. I also took special care to clip any sort of gate or flash off the dimple on the wrist because it was causing separation between the hand and the wrist, and it was quite noticeable when I didn't trim it down further. Here they all are, all assembled. I did a good job, I think, or I did a terrible job, and somebody will tell me. I do think that, having the bits off is the way to go, but that'll be proven when painting. Anyway, guys, keep painting those miniatures, people.